Hello everyone, and welcome to my BNB channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It appeared as though the sun had arrived before the storm as it rose over the Los Angeles skyline, as Hope Logan got ready for what was supposed to be the most beautiful day of her life, her long-awaited reunion and wedding to Liam Spencer. The Forrester mansion was covered in white roses, golden ribbons, and delicate lilies. The guests buzzed with excitement, their conversations blending with the soft notes of the string quartet echoing across the terrace. Ridge stood proudly near the aisle. Brooke shone with joy in her eyes, and even Bill Spencer, who was known for being hard-hearted and sharp-tongued, seemed unusually emotional as he watched his son take back the woman he had always called his destiny. Everything was as it should have been, but nobody knew that a storm was coming, one that would break every person's heart and shake the Spencer and Logan families to their very core. Her hands trembled as Hope adjusted the veil that was falling down her shoulders, not out of fear, but rather out of the surreal disbelief that she and Liam were finally here again after everything. They were back at the altar after betrayals, separations, tragedies, and heartbreak. However, a black SUV slowed down in the distance on the road leading to the Forrester estate. Wyatt Spencer made his way out when the door swung open. His once boyish face carried a haunted edge, now his blue eyes shadowed by years of silence. However, the young boy who was holding Wyatt's hand, not Wyatt himself, shocked those who saw him. The boy had soft brown eyes, sandy blonde hair, and a Spencer dimple that resembled that of his father and uncle. He had the appearance of being around 6 or 7 years old. The other arm of his body was encircled by an aged toy car as he clung to Wyatt's hand. Wyatt looked toward the mansion, his heart hammering as the faint echo of wedding bells reached his ears. With a slight crack in his voice, he whispered, "Guess this is it, buddy, time to get to know your family." The young boy gave an innocent glance up. "Daddy, will Uncle Liam like me?" Wyatt swallowed hard, forcing a smile. Even as his heart shattered, he said softly, "He will," but he knew deep down that he was afraid that no one would ever look at him the same after what he was about to say. The ceremony had begun inside with a fairy tale like smile. Hope strode down the aisle as he watched the woman who had always been his home. Liam stood tall with sparkling eyes. This is the moment they were always meant for, Brooke whispered to Ridge as she wiped away her tears. However, fate, always cruel, had other ideas. Just as Ridge began to speak, the doors at the back of the Forrester mansion swung open. The music faltered, conversations stilled, and every head turned toward the entrance. There were whispers as Wyatt stood there by himself. He hadn't been seen in LA for years. After a tumultuous breakup with Flo and a business dispute with Bill, he had vanished, and here he was, unannounced, unwelcome, and accompanied by a young child with a nervous smile. "Wyatt," Brooke gasped, clutching Ridge's arm. "Oh my God, that's Wyatt." As Bill got to his feet, his jaw tightened. What on earth is he doing here? Hope looked around confused. Wyatt. Liam turned, his face lighting up in surprise at first. "Wyatt, man, I had no idea you were back in Los Angeles. What is happening?" Wyatt stepped forward, his son's small hand still in his grasp. His focus shifted from Liam to Hope, then Bill. As he looked around the room, the tension in his chest grew unbearable. With a low but steady voice, he began, "I'm sorry for interrupting, but before you proceed with this wedding, I need to say something you all need to know." "Wyatt, can this be put off?" Brooke asked her, voice polite but irritated. "This is Liam and Hope's moment." Wyatt spoke up, his voice now sharp, and said, "No, this can't wait, because you will all find out the hard way later if I don't say it now." A silence so thick it could be cut with a knife filled the room. Bill's eyes narrowed. "Son, what's going on?" Wyatt took a deep breath, his grip tightening around his son's hand. I didn't come here to cause chaos. He said, quietly, I came because this little boy deserves to know the truth, and so do you all. The child hid behind Wyatt's leg and tightened his grip on Wyatt's hand. Hope knelt slightly, trying to ease the tension. Hi there, she said gently to the boy. Who are you? By name. The boy hesitated, then whispered. William Liam was shaken to his core by the name. His heart skipped a beat as his eyes widened. William. He repeated softly, That's my full name, he said with a tortured expression. Wyatt nodded. Yeah, I know. Gasps rippled through the guests, glancing between the brothers. Rich grinned. What are you saying? Wyatt. Bill's voice became harder. Wyatt, what did you do? Wyatt stepped forward into the room's center, and finally let go of his son's hand. This little boy, William. He's my son, but he's also Wyatt looked directly at Liam, his voice cracking. He's yours too. Liam. The shocked air filled the room. What? Brooke exclaimed, clutching her chest. Hope's shaking hands let go of the bouquet. That can't be right. In disbelief. Liam fixed Wyatt in his gaze. Wyatt, what in the world are you talking about? Wyatt swallowed hard, his eyes burning with guilt. I didn't plan for any of this. Liam, I was in a very dark place years ago when you and Hope broke up. I left Los Angeles after Flo and I split up, and Dad and I stopped talking. I ended up in Nevada for a while. Steffi also gave me a call one night. She told me she had someone who needed my help, a woman who had just given birth and couldn't take care of the baby. She stated that the infant required a home immediately. Steffi's eyes widened, her pulse quickening. Wyatt, what are you talking about? I've never. Yes, you did. Wyatt acted out of rage and snapped. You were working with someone who claimed that the adoption of the baby was legal. You stated that the mother did not desire the child. I took the baby in. I named him William after Liam because I wanted to honor my brother. I didn't know until later that the entire thing was a lie in horror. Hope covered her mouth. Oh my God. Wyatt's eyes brimmed with tears as he turned to face Liam. Again, this little boy. He's not adopted, Liam. He is your son by birth. The thunder that cracked across the sky outside seemed almost scripted. Gasps filled the mansion as lightning illuminated the shocked faces of the guests. Liam staggered back a step, his face pale. What are you talking about? That's impossible. I don't have another child. Wyatt shook his head miserably. You do. It wasn't until recently that I found out about it. Doctor was the person I ran into, Reese Buckingham. He told me the truth, that the baby wasn't meant to be given up for adoption, that there was a mix-up, and that the biological father was you. Hope's knees nearly gave out. She whispered, Reese Buckingham. Oh no, not again. Brooke turned pale, clutching the back of a chair. That name. That doctor is the same one who took Beth from Hope years ago. Bill slammed his fist against the wall. Are you telling me this psycho pulled another stunt using my son's? Wyatt's voice broke. Yes. I didn't know. I swear. I didn't know. I thought I was saving a child who had no one, but when I did a DNA test last month, the results came back. Liam's the father. The crowd erupted in disbelief. Hope stumbled backward, tears spilling down her cheeks. Liam, this can't be happening. Not again. Not another child we didn't know about. Liam, stunned and trembling, turned toward Wyatt. You're telling me that this boy William is my son, that I hadn't even known I had a second child all these years? Wyatt nodded, tears spilling freely now. I didn't mean to hide it. Liam, I swear, once I found out, I just didn't know how to tell you. I wanted to do it in person, but when I heard you were marrying Hope again, I couldn't let you take that vow without knowing the truth. The guests murmured in shock, but no one dared to move. Hope's voice trembled as she looked between the brothers. How? How is that even possible? Who was the mother? Wyatt hesitated. That's the other part of this, Hope, and it's the reason I've been terrified to come back here straight at Steffi. He looked. The room froze again. Wyatt. Steffi whispered, her face paling. Don't. Wyatt spoke, in a broken voice, as he closed his eyes. Steffi, the mother is you. The sound that followed was indescribable, part gasp, part silence, part the faint shatter of glass from someone dropping a champagne flute. Liam's breath caught in his throat. No, that can't be true. Steffi's eyes filled with tears. She whispered, I didn't know. I thought that baby didn't survive. Wyatt, you can't. I have the papers. Wyatt interrupted hoarsely. The DNA test and the medical records all match. You gave birth to that baby during the time you thought you lost your pregnancy in Aspen. Reese took the baby. He informed you that it had died. He sold him to the same woman who reached out to me. I took him in, thinking I was doing the right thing. As she stared at the young boy, the son of Liam and Steffi, Hope's heart broke. Liam's hands trembled as he stared at Wyatt, at Steffi, at the innocent child who looked so much like both of them. You're telling me you've been raising my son with Steffi all these years? Wyatt's lips trembled. Yes. After that, there was a deafening silence. Then Bill's voice roared through the mansion. You're telling me my two sons, were both victims of another one of Reese Buckingham's scams. And you, Wyatt, you didn't tell me you raised your brother's child and never said a damn word under the weight of his father's rage. Wyatt's voice cracked. I didn't know Dad. Not until recently. I had to bring him here because I couldn't eat or sleep. By the time I found out, he deserves to know where he comes from. Hope covered her face, sobbing. What does this mean for us? Liam did not respond. He couldn't. William, the young boy who was looking back at him with confused curiosity, was the sole focus of his attention. There was no denying the resemblance. Liam finally got down on one knee in front of the child. His voice was trembling as he said, softly, Hey, buddy, I'm Liam. The boy tilted his head. Are you my uncle? Liam's throat closed, something like that. He whispered, tears spilling down his cheeks, something like that. The guests could barely breathe as the storm outside broke in full force. Thunder rolled, lightning cracked, and the heavens opened in a torrential downpour that mirrored the chaos inside the Forrester mansion. Ridge moved closer to Steffi, his protective instincts kicking in. Is this true? Steffi, you had another baby? Steffi nodded slowly, tears streaming down her face. I didn't know Dad. I thought my baby died. Oh God, I didn't know. Hope looked at her while she was crying, her sadness turning into rage. You didn't know, or you didn't want to know. You and Liam already share a child, Steffi, and now another one. How many times does destiny have to throw you two together before it destroys everything? Liam said in a whisper, his voice breaking. Hope, she didn't know Hope, however, transcended logic. Her dream wedding had just turned into her worst nightmare. The man she loved was now the father of another secret child with a woman who'd always been her rival. Tension filled the air, and every emotion was as clear as glass. Brooke moved toward her daughter, but Hope shook her off. No, Mother, don't. Every time I think Liam and I can finally have peace, something happens, and it's always her. She turned toward Steffi, her voice trembling. How many times do I have to lose before I finally realize it's never going to end? Wyatt's voice was small, now almost broken. I'm sorry. I never meant to destroy your wedding. I just couldn't live with the secret anymore. Bill, his fury tempered by confusion, looked between both of his sons. You both need to get this sorted. However, Wyatt, damn it, this will alter everything. Wyatt nodded miserably. I know. As the storm raged outside, Hope ripped off her veil and stormed out of the mansion, tears pouring down her face. Brooke followed, shouting her name, while Rich turned toward Bill Spencer. You better control your family before this gets any worse. But Bill just stared at his sons, Wyatt guilt and shaking, and the little boy between them, clutching his toy car, unaware of the chaos he had caused just by being there. Liam was broken and silent, Wyatt was guilty and shaking. No one spoke for a long time. The music had stopped, the candles flickered, and every guest had the same expression of stunned disbelief. Wyatt knelt down beside his son, resting a trembling hand on his shoulder. "It's okay, buddy," he whispered. "You didn't do anything wrong." Again, the boy looked up at Liam. "Are you truly my father?" Liam's lips trembled. He gave Hope's empty seat, Steffi, and then back to the child a quick glance. He whispered, weeping, "Yeah, I guess I am." As a result, the wedding that was supposed to unite families ended up tearing them apart. The Spencers, Logans, and Forresters thought they knew everything there was to know about love, family, and loyalty. When Wyatt's devastating secret reverberated through the estate's halls one last time, the Forrester mansion's storm-damaged windows let the early morning light in reluctantly across Los Angeles due to the wilting effects of the rain and the commotion that had broken out the previous night. The once gleaming wedding decorations now appeared ghostly. Now there was only silence and regret, where once there had been laughter and love. Wyatt sat by himself in the living room with his hands tightly clenched and his eyes bloodshot from lack of sleep. William Spencer, his son, slept soundly upstairs in a guest room, completely unaware that his very presence had shattered. 3 families, the hallway was filled with footsteps. Bill Spencer showed up, with a mix of rage and disappointment on his face. Something drier, more perilous, had replaced his usual self-assurance. Bill spoke sharply, cutting through the silence like a knife. Wyatt didn't turn to look up. "Dad, please refrain from speaking." Bill yelled, "I should throw you out of this house. Do you have any idea what you did yesterday? You destroyed your brother's wedding." A whole family was turned upside down away with a surprise that could have come after the ceremony. Wyatt stood as his own rage mounted. "Wait it. Do you think I should not have allowed Liam to make vows based on lies?" "Dad, I wasn't going to do that." Before he said, "I do," he had a right to know the truth. Bill slammed his hand into the couch's back. "You had a long time to tell him. You could have contacted me as soon as you learned I had no idea until last month." With his voice cracking, Wyatt yelled, "I brought him here. As soon as I confirmed it, I just wanted to do the right thing, not to ruin anyone's life." Bill's eyes got smaller as he clenched his jaw. "The right thing? You kept my grandson from this family for years. You think it makes you a hero to make a tearful confession at a wedding?" Wyatt lost his voice. "Dad, I didn't know that. I swear from my life that I was unaware. However, I could no longer lie to Liam, not to that youngster upstairs." The fury in Bill's eyes gave way to cold calculation as he slowly exhaled. "You've left a mess that I'll have to clean up once more. Just like always." Wyatt glared at him. "Don't act like you're the savior here, Dad. You built this family on secrets and manipulation. I made one error, and it was caused by love." Bill's eyes became fixed. "Wyatt, you didn't just make a mistake. Liam lost his marriage to you." The word struck like a blow. Wyatt's shoulders went down. "I know," Bill continued grimly. "Hope's gone. Brooke contacted me in the morning last night. She packed her belongings and vanished. Nobody is aware of her whereabouts." Wyatt's stomach dropped. "Gone? What do you mean gone?" Bill said, as he threw a folded piece of paper onto the table. "She left a note for Brooke. Said she couldn't stay in Los Angeles anymore, that she ends up standing in Steffi's shadow each time she tries to build a life with Liam." Wyatt's throat tightened. "Oh God, Hope's not answering her phone." Bill went on. "Brooke is laughing so hard. Ridge is furious. Also Liam." Before Bill could finish, Liam's voice erupted from the entryway. "Don't talk about me like I'm not here." Wyatt turned. Liam stood in the doorway, disheveled, his eyes bloodshot and wild. He appeared as though he hadn't slept in days. Rain soaked his jacket. His tie hung loosely around his neck. His rage made his voice shake. "You want to talk about what you did? Wyatt, let's discuss it." Bill extended a hand. Liam, this is not a don't get involved. Dad with a stifled voice. Liam snapped. He turned on Wyatt, his eyes burning with betrayal. You stood there yesterday and dropped a bomb on my life like it was nothing. You gave me the impression that I was about to start over with hope, and then at my wedding, you tell me that I have a second son. Wyatt hesitated. I didn't mean to hurt you, Liam. Then why did you wait so long to tell me? Liam shouted, his voice breaking. You withheld this from me for a long time. I could have been that boy's friend. I could have assisted him while I was out there wondering if my family would ever be complete again. You instead played the father role. Wyatt's voice was shaking. I didn't know, Liam. I swear I didn't know until a few weeks ago, and as soon as I did, it was brought to my wedding by you. Liam roared. You didn't even give me a chance to breathe before you ripped everything apart. Bill stepped between them. Enough. You're both Spencers. You want to fight, fine, but you do it under control with a venomous voice. Liam glared at his father. You frequently speak of control. This family only knows how to lie and ruin everything that comes in its way. Bill advised, be careful, no with pain. Liam's voice cracked. I've lost everything as a result of lies and secrets. Hope's gone. I had no idea that my other son, who lives upstairs, existed until yesterday. How do I even start to live with that? Wyatt took a hesitant step forward. You begin by getting to know him, by currently being there for him. Liam shook his head. You don't get it. I can't just walk up to him and play dad. He recognizes you. He is his father. Wyatt's voice softened. He knows me. Yeah. However, he also deserves to know you. Liam's voice dropped, almost a whisper that was taken from me by you. Wyatt's face crumpled. Then if you have to hate me, I deserve it. But don't take it out on that kid. The silence that followed was heavy, broken only by the sound of distant thunder rolling over the city. Bill finally exhaled and rubbed his temples. The press will eat this alive once it leaks. You two are tearing yourselves apart. We need to contain it before it spreads. He was targeted by Liam. Are you concerned about the news right now? You think I care about the company's image when my life is falling apart? I'm thinking about all of you. Bill said sharply. That young man upstairs is a Spencer, which means the press, the Forresters, everyone's going to want a piece of this story. We need to protect him. Wyatt frowned. How to protect him? Bill's expression hardened by taking custody.